Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Cabinet meeting of Mountain Borough Council. We are on stream or online or whatever the expression is. Margaret is just stuck in a traffic jam. She will be joining us. So I'll go straight on with the agenda, which is apologies for absence. I was going to say talk of the devil, but that'd be a bit unkind, wouldn't it? Well done. So Ed and Clive are online, and I think other people are. And Michelle will make certain that we are able to see if they wish to say anything. So, minutes of the previous meeting. Now, uh, there are some exempt minutes, so if you need to comment on that, you have to go into exempt mode. But I'm hoping that this is just a case of approving the minutes as a correct record. So I shall move them from shared. Seconder. Thank you, Margaret. Those in favour, please show. And again, so I can sign those. Yep. That set. Sign the exempt set as well. There, the collection later. Now we go on to declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? No. Okay, no declarations of interest. I see there are no matters referred to us from scrutiny committee today, so that's another item we can tick off. And now we go on to item 5, which is pages 225 to 102. It's the corporate performance risk and feedback report. Do you want to say anything, Margaret?
Yes, please. I've got a few words to say that were drafted earlier when I was travelling. Um, yes, I'd just like to say this quarter has seen improvements, but there still remains a few areas where we have issues. I'd like to do those first, and then we'll go on to the improvements to end on a positive. Um, the first one is average relet time for council housing. This has been improved, performance on the average relet time since quarter 4 of 24-25, reducing from 120 to 67 days, which performance has remained at since quarter 1. However, performance continues to fluctuate and remains a risk area in both terms of performance and therefore availability of homes to let. So this one is on radar to be looked at closely. Percentage of occupied commercial units in council ownership. Performance in this area has improved, which is good news, um, to 90% in quarter 3 of 25-26 from 85% in quarter 2. In respect of the commercial units, there were 3 vacant Snow Hill units, one of which a lease has been completed. Structural issues identified for the 2 vacant and adjoining units, which requires an assessment and resolution prior to further leases being agreed, and occupation of the premises. And staff absence. These areas that need improvement, yeah. Staff absence, days sickness and per employee still remains to be addressed. Council saw sickness levels increase to 6.2 days to date against a target of 4.5 days. This is 2 days higher than at the same period last year. But quarter 3 sickness absence is always historically high in other quarters due to the time of year and seasonal flu, and I can vouch for that because I have had seasonal flu for the past 3 weeks. So yeah, so the performance highlights the work happening across the council so far. I'll go across like some of the improvements, which there's quite a few. I'll just touch on them. Homelessness. We have seen during quarter 3 a sustained improvement in performance across our homelessness service, with a reduction in the number of households living in temporary accommodation. That's absolutely excellent news. Rent arrears, the level of rent arrears continues to reduce over the last 18 months. This has remained a key area of focus for the team in the year, and the review of the rent collection process and resource realignment has supported this improvement. The number of households in arrears by 6 weeks and 10 weeks is also showing a sustained reduction. And again, we like to catch it early and act quicker. It saves getting to debt. So it's helping residents. Food hygiene inspection undertaken, performance has improved markedly in this area from a low point of 63% at the end of Q4 and remains above target at 96% at the end of Q3. Absolutely excellent news. Business rates and council tax collection performance in this area has been improving over the last quarter, and when compared to other Leicestershire authorities, we are ranked first out of the 9 other councils. The 25-26 collection rates as of the 31st December. Again, absolutely brilliant news. Go on about the refund. We have a refreshed performance and risk management framework at Appendix C. I'm sure you've all read it with great interest. It is healthy to refresh this framework to ensure delivery of our priorities and ensure effective service performance and organisational governance. So it is a live document and it doesn't need to be refreshed every now and again. So I'm very happy to propose a 2.1 and 2.2 recommendations in the report. Sorry it was so long, haven't I?
Thank you very much, Margaret. I'll formally second the recommendation. I'd just like to add, it's good news all round. Well done to the staff, raising performance. Of course, while percentages are up across the board, for some individuals, particularly homelessness, of course, it's 100% for them. So we're not taking our eye off the ball because many of these homelessness cases are very difficult to resolve for all sorts of reasons. So we won't be complacent, but well done to the team. Yeah, excellent. Anybody else want to say anything? Yes, please, Sarah.
Only a very brief one. In relation to staff sickness, I was just wondering if the health and safety working group might be inappropriate for to look closer at the mental health issues that staff are facing, as in, are there any particular causes? Is there anything we should be aware of that we should be supporting the staff team with? Because if it accounts for 24% of sickness across the organisation, I just think we've got things like LGR coming online. Is that causing people anxiety? They might be worried about bills, their jobs. I know we've had periods of abuse of staff. And if that's a growing trend, then we need to be putting measures in to protect the team. So I just wonder if that could come back as an action to the health and safety working group. I think it.
I fully support that. I think we need to look at the trend as to find out the cause, basically. And if we can do anything to address the cause, I think that's excellent news.
I'm guessing that we don't need a formal addition to the recommendations, but you've noted that. Did you want to say anything on that side?
Thank you. So just to confirm, from the Health and Safety Working Group's point of view, we have an agenda item at each meeting focused on workplace wellbeing, and the area of work that sits across our HR teams remit and the Health and Safety Working Group remit is stress. So it does fit neatly there. So no issues from my perspective.
5.43 to do with the homelessness. I know page 29. Just like that, I mean, the teams have been brilliant because I've had a few cases where people have been rough sleeping in the town and that, and they've reacted really quickly. And whether we have duty or care or not, they've dealt with these people really well. But also a couple that have had come to me where their needs probably aren't being, they're quite complex needs. So if we could just be a little bit more, some of them have felt that they're not been listened to, but then they might not be, they find it hard to say what their problem is as well. So it's just recognising, not getting the full picture, but we do need to read between the lines. It's not one that fits all. And the other is 5.5.4 with the avoids. I'm hoping on Monday, if something gets passed, that we will have a bit of a solution that might help with that, to do with some residents that have been cuckooed or
the properties being closed down. So that should help with the length of time that some properties are closure orders. And 5.611, the development and implemented of the town centre design guide. I think that's good. Good bit of work that's been done by the officers and should help, you know, as part of the supplementary planning document. So piece of work.
Yeah, just to say, people being off with stress. And the worst thing about it, of course, it makes it even worse for the people who are still working. Then they're under stress, you know. So it's really got to be taken very seriously, you know, before it sort of spreads too far. Thank you.
I guess we can move to a vote now. So all those in favour, please show. None against. Thank you. That's carried. So we're on to item 6 now, which is the Treasury Management Report.
This is the one we always like presenting because it's another good news story. So this paper represents the third quarter, obviously at full council. We heard the strategy for the upcoming year in relation to Treasury management. I have every confidence in the team and how they manage our investments. This report actually outlines that there was a 209,000 surplus in relation to their expected income from investments, and that's a fantastic outcome. They were achieving 4.6% returns average of all the investments they were making, which just for people who aren't monitoring the markets is actually a lot higher than the average yield that people are getting at the moment. So it's really good news. The bad news is that forthcoming year we anticipate interest rates to go down, although that might stutter now with the Iranian war. Unfortunately, the price of fuel might affect that, which does benefit us in terms of if interest rates don't go down as fast, that will benefit our accounts and our balance sheet because we are making a good return on our investments. What I am noted and thanked the officers for is that they've tried to secure long-term investments for us at a good rate. So we will see the benefit of that in the coming year. And thank you to the officers. So I'm happy to propose that this paper and point 2.1 and 2.2 is noted.
Sarah, and I'm happy to second that. Does anybody else wish to comment or ask any questions? No. Okay, well, let's go to the vote then. All those in favour? None against. Thank you. That's carried. So that's item 6 finished with. Now we're back to Margaret with biodiversity plan and whoever else.
Yes, me again. Just briefly, as you may recall from Cabinet in November, we considered and approved the first consideration report in connection with the biodiversity. The following stage of that work is to produce a biodiversity plan and publish a report to comply with the statutory duty in accordance with the Environment Act 2021. The actions in the plan do not sit alone in a silo. They cut across numerous areas within the Council to improve ecology resilience, influence policy, manage green assets, raise awareness and support biodiversity through planning, housing, environment services and corporate functions. The action plan, as in your pack tonight, is a working document to be updated and improved as necessary. More information on this is in section 5 of the report, so I won't go into it all. The biodiversity is a corporate responsibility requiring a coordinated cross-departmental approach. We should therefore incorporate the remit to monitor biodiversity action to the members' climate change group, as per the recommendation at 2.3 of the report. We all have to take responsibility. So I'm very happy to propose 2.1, 2.2 and 2.3 of the report.
Thank you. Thank you, Margaret. And I'll formally second that. Does anybody have any comments to make or questions on this paper? A lot of hard work's gone into it, hasn't it? Yeah. Right. Well, we can move to a vote then. So all those in favour, please show. So that's carried unanimously. Thank you very much. And that gets taken to the next meeting of full council. Now, for the next item, item 8, there is an exempt paper at the back of the document. So if members wish to discuss that particular document, it's commercial in confidence. That's why it's an exempt. We will have to go into exempt mode. Now, I think we will still have to come back into public mode in order to take the vote. That's so. I was hoping to just close the meeting if we had to do that, but I don't think we can take the vote without being in public. So I will the recommendations. So I shall go out, come in if we refer to it. Okay. Now who's talking to this one? This is Sarah again, is it? Okay, Sarah. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So this, the paper before us tonight is the culmination of just one of the strands of the asset development plan. This is a piece of work that this cabinet instigated when we first came in as an administration to support the financial challenges that the council were facing. We were aware of a number of buildings that were empty, council buildings, and we formed the working party to look at all the assets across our borough. The paper before you tonight is just focusing on one of those buildings, but I do anticipate that we're going to have a number of decisions to make. We've already made some decisions in relation to the garage sites. This is the first one of the empty buildings that in at disposal. So the Cove used to be a Sure Start building. I wish with all my heart we could still have it as a Sure Start building. I wish the government funding was still there for that to be a Sure Start centre, but it isn't. And that building has been sat empty at an annual cost of 37,000 a year to the council, not being utilised by any community groups or council officers because we've condensed them here at Parkside. So it is a waste of money, and we can't allow council taxpayers' money to be wasted. So the paper before you recommends that the building be disposed of. We did have a very late addition to the report in that myself and the director responsible were approached about the potential of a commercial interest, but it's a community interest. We don't think the building's suitable. We're due to have a meeting tomorrow. If that is right and the company do say it's not suitable, then the asset would proceed to disposal. So we have explored so many different avenues to look at the cost benefit analysis of this building, but due to the limited parking, the recommendation of the paper is that ultimately, if it isn't taken up by the community interest tomorrow, that it be disposed of and that we add some money to the capital budget that we know from the full council meeting we had is really very, very low. And that's not because of us, that's what we've been left with. But we need to do take responsibility and support the officers in adding to that balance. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy to formally second all of the recommendations that you've moved. Open up for discussion. I'll reserve my right to say something in a moment.
Yes, yeah, I think that something does need to be done about this, and we can't keep spending £37,000 a year on maintaining something that isn't being used or being used on a very minimal amount. I'm very interested, as you know, on the community interest on this. But if the Cove is not suitable for that, we do need to really latch onto that and explore other premises which may be of interest. And I'm sure we do have some others on the book. So if we say if it's not suitable, then don't sort of ignore the use that this particular company wants to have. So I think we need to pursue that as well. So we can have both if we're careful how we do it.
Just to say, I'd love to see it as a community use. I really would, but if it's just not possible, then it's not possible, but it's a pity. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, when we first started exploring this with the idea that we had to do with homelessness and stuff like that, it would have been brilliant to use it for that, but parking stopping that. So unfortunately, as everyone said, we can't keep that cost going. So, you know, it is the best thing for the building, unfortunately.
I'll just have my four pence if I can, because it's in my area, and I agree. It's very, very sad. The last government chopped Sure Start because it was an excellent programme, and in fact the county council had the upper floor as well. And I was a member of a community group that used it for toddlers and mums, and that community group had to leave at the insistence of the county council, and then the county council left, and by that time the community group had moved on. So it is a, you know, it's a disgrace really, and I can't quite understand why it was built the way it was built without a bit more car parking. But there you go. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. We've been left holding the baby again, as with many other policy issues facing this council, and we're getting on with it, and we're going to do the right thing by the taxpayer. And I agree with Margaret's point that if tomorrow it's not quite right in that particular building, there may be other buildings in our possession that would suit.
And I just want to assure Cabinet we'll look at every option in terms of any other site where we think we can facilitate that, because we know we're being very cryptic, but for the community, we know that the addition of this will be a real benefit to the community. So we will look at sites if this one isn't the right site. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Steve,
Sorry, Chair.
please do.
So if they're going out tomorrow to have a look, then on if they can be a community, and if they say yeah, we can't vote on this, then can we?
The terms of the recommendation are we'll look at that first. If that fails, we then go on to dispose. So that's the way it's been written, to give us that flexibility, so that we don't have to have another meeting just to decide that one.
Thanks,
Good point, though. Anybody else? Okay, well, let's. I don't think we need to go into secret mode, unfortunately. So we'll go straight to the vote then. All those in favour, please show. That's carried. Thank you very much. And that concludes the meeting. Thank you. I'll get to see Arsenal then.